There isn't a perfect age to retire, but I do not want you just continuing to work solely because there's this traditional retirement of age 65. I don't subscribe to that. Now, if you love what you do, great, keep working. But if you don't love what you do, I want you to know the earliest possible time you no longer need to keep working, where you're actually only working because you want to, not because you have to. So I'm the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. I'm a certified financial planner, and I love helping people know when they're in a spot to make work optional. Once again, if you love what you do, great, keep doing it. But if you don't, know when you no longer need to. So today's video, I'm going to give you a real client case study. This is a client of mine. Of course, I've changed their names for security, but a client of mine who came to me and they wanted to retire early. They didn't even know if that was possible. And what you are going to see is really what makes a retirement successful or not. And the reason there's so much nuance with an early retirement is, what about healthcare expenses? What about the fact that if we live till 100, are we going to need this money for 30, 40 plus years, hopefully longer than that? I want to make sure that you don't retire early and go, why didn't I work 6 more months or one more year to the point where I could have done more of what I wanted to do? I could have spent more. And I don't want you having those regrets. And the only way to protect against that, in my opinion, is with a good plan. So I'm going to show you today how I think through this, and you're going to see what moving pieces can be maneuvered. So when you're thinking about your plan, you know exactly the impact it has. And it's a dumb joke here, but I tell it to my clients here. I call it, I don't know planning. People go, what do you mean by that? And here's what I mean. I'm a soccer player. I love playing soccer, but I am not fun to be around when I get hurt. Okay. My partner says I'm worse than hangry. That's hungry and angry. And I know some of you are going, hey, that's really bad. I'm working on it. Okay. But I am not fun when I can't play soccer. Now, what happens when I get an MRI? Once I get an MRI, I know the diagnosis. I know the severity of my injury. Then, once I have my physical therapy schedule, I know what I need to do to get back on the field. Now, same thing goes here. I find most people just don't know what position they're in, meaning they're going, hey, I want to retire, but if markets don't perform well, am I not going to be okay? I want to retire, but am I not going to be able to travel to the degree that I want to? I want all of that. I don't know if I can do this or can't do that. I want that out of your head. I call it head trash. I want all of that head trash out of there so that you are retiring going, hey, if markets do well or don't do well, I'm okay. If I want to spend an extra 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000 a year on travel, I can do it. And yes, I know there's healthcare expenses as well, and I've accounted for those. So just making sure you're absolutely dialing in every single aspect of your plan, in my opinion, is the only way you can actually retire with confidence. So with that being said, let's hop right into this example. So here's John and Jane, and they have one child named Luke. And you can see John is 60 years old. Jane is 60 years old, and they have a child, Luke, who's 13 years old. When they came to me, they didn't even know if they had to work until 65 or 67 or 62. They just did not know what they were on track for. Now, here's what they're working with. So this might be very similar to a lot of your situations, might be very different, but this is their situation. They've got just $10,000 in a savings account. They keep it at all times. I normally recommend higher than this, but this is what they're comfortable with. And after we had a long conversation about their goals and what they wanted to do in life, they'd rather have that money working for them. So they have a joint account, and that joint account has $150,000. This was really important to them to help bridge the gap for an early retirement. So they have 10,000 savings, 150 in a joint account. John has a 401k that has 450,000 in a Roth IRA with 40,000, and then Jane has an IRA with 400,000. So they own their home, no mortgage on the home. So awesome for them. $400,000 is the value of their home. This is their net worth. I call it $1 million because really the primary home, yes, it's in their net worth, but it's not a liquid asset, meaning retirement's all about cash flow and you need income. And this home, if they're not renting it out, it can't really create cash flow. In fact, it's only an expense. Now, the good news is it's an expense, just not a very large one because there's no mortgage there. So please, if all of you are watching right now, know that if you have a mortgage, it's okay. Okay. A lot of people come to me and it's, oh my gosh, I still have a mortgage. I'm going to an early retirement. Am I going to be okay? Just another expense to account for. So this is the first glance. So what are we on track for? And I told them, here are your different options. This is what I want all of you to really understand is when you're doing planning to look at the following. I said, hey guys, what if you stopped at 61? Meaning you're both working today. What if you stopped at 61? What are you on track for? And right off the bat, this looks good. I mean, the clients come to me and they're like, hey, this line's going up. Like, this is a good thing, right? I go, yeah, it's a good thing. They're like, explain to me what I'm looking at. So I'm going to go through this with you. What this is saying is this isn't their net worth. So this is the $1,050,000 that they have in, call it liquid assets. Now, when I say liquid, just think about that Roth IRA, joint account, assets that they can actually touch into to create income, not including their home here. And if that grows and grows and grows and grows, it's projected to be worth $3.1 million by the time they're 90, so 30 years from now. So right off the bat, they go, hey, this looks good. Now we always have to go, okay, $3 million, it sounds good, but like what's $3 million going to be worth in the future? So we have to toggle that on, and here's what you see. That $1 million, it depletes over time because they're spending, and then all of a sudden Social Security starts to help them out later, so it starts to come back up, and you see they're on track for about $1.2 million. And they made it very clear to me they didn't want to leave Luke, who of course is not the real name of their child, but they wanted to leave Luke about $500,000. So they looked at this and they said, hey, this is good, gives us a little comfort in case investments don't do well, that we're still going to be okay. I said, great. So here we are. This is what they started. They're comfortable with this. Now, one of the things that they said is, hey, what if we want to retire earlier? Like, what if we just stopped right now? Not 61, but what if we stopped at 60? And a cool thing about this software is it's going to constantly update. So there's lots of softwares out there. This isn't rocket science, but I like that this will update to show clients the impact of retirement. So if they said, you know what, we're going to stop working, both of us at the same time, there are certainly fewer dollars. You can see there's 350,000 fewer dollars. I think all of you get that. If I work less, there's going to be less. What most people don't understand is the magnitude of this. So you're going, okay, what do you mean by that? Well, watch what happens if they work an extra year, meaning not 61 till 62. People go, okay, Ari, I get it. It's going to show there's more dollars. I go, that's right. But watch what happens if they don't want to spend $6,000 a month, but $8,000 a month throughout retirement. So all I'm changing here is this number right here. Now, instead of $6,000 a month, they're going to spend $8,000. And so now what you see all of a sudden is you go, oh my gosh, we're almost running out of money here. And this is the big variable that too many people don't focus on, meaning that they understand expenses are important, but they're mainly focusing on returns. They're mainly focusing on tax strategy. All important stuff, all stuff I love to go over, but we cannot forget about this. And so I have a specific cash flow planner. You'll see it in the description of this episode. It's called my cash flow planner, where if you want to retire early, this is something you want to fill out because it's income that's designed to show you how to think through your expenses specifically for an early retirement. Because if you retire early, you've got to plan for some of these things. An example of this is a client came to me and they said, Ari, I think 6,000 is about right for what we want to spend. I say, great. Are you invested the right way? They're like, well, I don't know. That's why I'm coming to you. I said, well, what if our investments just don't perform well? Meaning, what if we just, have a conservative portfolio throughout retirement? What does that mean to the plan? So this couple wants to still spend $6,000 a month. Are they going to be okay? Yeah, they're okay. But they have 300,000 fewer dollars than if they invested in what I'll call a moderate portfolio. And I'll show you what these values are in just a second, where there's 350,000 more dollars. So call it a nearly $700,000 difference just from investing the right way. So investing the right way and dialing in your expenses, these are big. But we cannot forget about a lot of things, which of course is healthcare. And so I'll go in here for my clients and I'll say, John, what if when you retire, let's assume it's 61 or 62, what's going to happen is once you hit age 65, you're going to be on Medicare. So you're not going to have to pay for these healthcare expenses. So what we want to do is factor in this cost up until age 65. So I'll say, John, what if, let's just assume it's $15,000 a month for you. When in reality, for all of you watching, it can really range. I've seen $15,000 to $30,000. That's for a couple. So I'm just going to say 15,000 to show you guys. What if it was just John? Which it's not. It's going to be Jane as well. But if it's just John, watch the impact here. So instead of having 350,000 more dollars, they still have 185,000 more dollars. So not quite a $200,000 difference, but that's a big difference. That's 3 years of healthcare expenses at $15,000 or $45,000. That's a $200,000 difference. But look, guys, and the reason I'm showing you this, they're still okay. Too many people do not retire early solely because of healthcare expenses. And to me, that's weak planning, meaning it's not enough of a deep dive. Now, what we want to do is say, you know what? And I'm not saying that to be mean, but I'm saying I don't want you to just keep working just because of, oh my gosh, where's healthcare going to come from? Most of you have had a traditional W-2 job for many years, and it's going to be really weird when you're having different healthcare. And it's just, once again, an expense you have to account for. Now, what if they're paying for both of them? Well, now all of a sudden, let's assume they want to retire at 61, spend $6,000 every single month, and there's now this big healthcare expense. Well, look, that's a big change here. $400,000 fewer dollars. That's a conversation of, John, Jane, if you want to retire at 61, I'm not so sure that's possible. But working one more year makes a big difference here. And they go, wow, like now we really are okay. And then we'll play around with this in more detail, of course. And I'll show clients, what if it wasn't 6,000 a month? What if it was 5,500? What does that do to the plan? So that's just $500 difference. 6,000 over the year. Well, that's a big difference. 300,000 more dollars. So dialing in your expenses, underrated tool. Okay. The next thing I'm going to go to, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but this next graph, it's not as pretty, but it's really important for me. This is called the withdrawal rate graph. Now, it's not as pretty as this graph I just showed you with the line showing you what you're on track for, but this is really important because if you retire early, you're going to need income for many, many years. And I don't know how long you're going to live or any of us are going to live, but I want to make sure that you do not outlive your income. So what you're seeing here is how much money needs to be sent to John and Jane so they can meet their expenses, both healthcare, travel, you name it. So you can see right off the bat, their withdrawal rate, it looks really high. I mean, this is high. 7.2%, 7.5%, 8%, 12%. People would look at it and go, that's not sustainable. And they would be right. If this continued doing this for the next 30, 40 years, then it would not be sustainable. But what happens is once Social Security starts to help out this couple, all of a sudden their withdrawal rate's super, super low. Healthcare expenses are gone. Maybe they're not traveling to the same degree. Some of you know those slow-go years, those no-go years, that retirement smile analogy. Then what happens here at 75? A lot of you are going to be able to guess. This is RMDs, meaning they're going to be forced to take out more than they know what to do with, and they don't even need this amount of money. So this is too high. We can't have a withdrawal rate of 8, 12%. That's too high. But what we can do is say, if we're hovering in the 6% range, that's extremely sustainable, especially if it's only for 2, 3 years. Now, if it's for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, not so sustainable. So we'll go back to this. And with the client, I'll say, you know what? What if you retire? What if you work till 63 and your investments did fairly well? Let's call it an 80% equity portfolio. Just an example, okay? What they're going to see is, oh my gosh, this looks great. Like we're on track for $3 million, and that's in today's dollars. What about our withdrawal rate? Another reason I love this software, everything updates automatically. So we can go here and go, okay, that same withdrawal rate we looked at before, yeah, this is this 6.5, 6. I'm okay telling a client they can go retire on this. And people are like, how could you say that? I go, well, it's not forever. Watch what happens. I want you to go spend. I want you to go have fun. Now, if markets turn and go down 30, 40%, I'm saying, hey guys, I still want you to pay for healthcare. I still want you to travel, but just not to this degree. And here's why is if I have to send you 6% out of your portfolio and markets are down 40%, that becomes really dangerous. And so these withdrawal rates, they're not sustainable if they were forever. But look at what happens. Once Social Security's turned on for this couple, they're in such a wonderful spot that in the future, they're going to be forced to take out more than they know what to do with. And those are those RMDs. So just having a good plan and understanding the different variables here, that's why I'm showing this to you guys. I want to get rid of a few myths that a lot of you reach out to me and my partner James, as well as send us emails, just saying, hey, I saw an article. It says you need $1 million to retire. Is that true? We'll say, absolutely not. And they'll say, oh, do I need 2 million or 5 million or 10 million? I go, it has nothing to do with that. And they're like, what do you mean? I thought if I had a whole lot more, I'd be in a better spot. I go, yeah, on paper, financially, it will say you're in a better spot. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at planning, if you have $1 million and you want to spend $20,000 a month, you're going to run out of money really quickly. Versus if you have $10 million and you want to spend $2,000 a month. Vice versa, though. And most people don't think about it that way. They think just get more, get more, get more. I say dial in your expenses and understand what's the most you can spend. I don't want you coming to me. And a lot of you know this dopey joke, but I'm giving it to you again. Coming to me going, Ari, I'm going to be one of your best clients. I have a super low withdrawal rate. That's what someone said to me. I said, you'll be one of my worst clients. Like, what do you mean? I thought a low withdrawal rate was good. If I want, to have $5 million and I'm only taking out, or let's call it $1 million. Let's use this example right here. If you have $1 million and you say, all right, I'm only going to take out 60,000 a year. Is that sustainable? I'll say it depends. What other income sources are there? Because if you have a pension or rental income or these other moving pieces, it plays a big difference to the plan. So I'm telling you this because there's tons of articles out there that say you need $1 million to retire, 2 million or 5 million, or wait until markets do this. I think all that's bogus, to be honest. And the reason I think it's bogus is because it's cookie cutter. It's just looking at a bunch of people. It's a click and it's saying, click on this. And it'll force you into having fear going, I'm just going to keep working and keep working, keep working. And most people don't talk about the real risk, which is the fact that you keep working and then forego experiences with family and friends and doing things that you actually want to do. So I'm not this guy saying don't don't work. I'm saying go work, do what you want to do, look at other alternatives, whether it's part time income, doing something that's a whole lot more meaningful, even if it pays less. Maybe it's actually doing a full plan and saying, hey, if I implement good tax strategy and withdrawal strategy and all these things that you guys talk about, when can I stop? Like, when am I really in a comfortable position? And that's the green light that we don't give everyone until we are fully confident they can do so. Because I work with a lot of people that retired early unsuccessfully, meaning they came to me, they retired in the 2000s, they're coming to me in their 70s going, yeah, I retired early on paper, but I second guessed going out to eat or taking a big trip or doing something really fun that I wish I could take back because now I'm always kind of hesitant to spend. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to be in an awesome spot to spend and go spend a little bit more knowing you have cushion to do so. I'm a conservative planner. It's how I run my business. So hopefully this video was helpful, just giving you some insight. If you have $1 million and you want to retire and you're going, hey, am I on track? This should give you some insight to go, okay, 6,000 a month, 8,000, 10,000. This couple, I didn't go through their deep social security when they're going to collect. I didn't go through a lot. They have no rental income, no pensions, just super, super simple. And they want to know, when are we in a good position? And so for them, they're really leaning towards, 62, 63, because it's going to make them comfortable. But I have other clients that would look at this and go, I'm open to investing differently. Because of that, when's the earliest I can retire? That's a different answer from someone who's like, hey, I'm always been worried about markets and I'm naturally pessimistic. I don't know where markets will go. I say, great. If you're really worried, let's work an extra 6 months or a year. It's going to make you sleep that much better. So when I'm meeting with clients and I'm saying, hey, it's time for a review meeting. Let's go over your plan and your goals and what you're on track for. I'll ask them, I'll say, how well are you sleeping? Because that's the good gauge of a financial plan, not just do the numbers and graphs look good. That's one part of it. So hopefully, once again, this was helpful. If it was, please do drop a comment and I'll make more videos just like you guys asked for. That's how I came up with this video. Thanks, guys.